Each and every one of you guys. I am what you need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you see, you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The link is in the description. All praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first in everything we do and say. This stream is brought to you by LIVE Products. Live or live. Live now. We're live now. Some of the cleaning products that you can have at LIVE is the LIVE liquid detergent soap. We got LIVE dishwashing liquid. We've got LIVE all-purpose cleaner, and we have LIVE fabric softener. LIVE, live now, we're live. Now, if you're in the Trinidad and Tobago area, you can contact me to place your orders. The number is 319-4788. You can WhatsApp it, or you can order via phone. Christ I Am Disciple, and I'm also known as Christ I Am Disciple, but I'm really what you need on this channel. I'm Anson Phillip, and we're going to talk about what the pros, some of the most respected pros had to say on this fight, Beterbiev versus Bivol. First of all, the Prince thought that the wrong man won the fight, and he promised Bivol that they would have an immediate rematch. So one thing on the horizon there is that Bivol will get his rematch with Artur Beterbiev for a chance at Undisputed. But also in addition to that, we have a number of different people who, I wrote down the names, but apparently I picked up the wrong paper, who thought that Bivol won. And some thought that Bivol was robbed. Now, like I said before, if you haven't scored the fight, you can't really know. You're just going off of impressions. Watch now the fight 3 times. I've had a scorecard for this fight for the longest while. I just never told you guys my scorecard. I'll go through my scorecard in a bit. But first of all, listen to the people who thought that Bivol won, and then they had some comments to make. The first person that I'm going to talk about is Andre Ward. Andre Ward knows boxing inside out. He thought that Bivol won. Shakur Stevenson thought that Bivol won. Sergio Mora thought that Bivol won. This guy, I really don't care to mention him, but I'm going to mention him anyway. Ryan Garcia thought Bivol won. Showtime Sean Porter had Bivol up 8 rounds to 2 after 10 rounds. Steven Espinoza thought that Bivol was winning the fight, and he had some comments to say. Carl Froch thought that Bivol won. An MMA fighter called Tristan Tate, he thought that the cleaner work was done by Bivol. He thought he won. Richardson Hitchens thought that Bivol won. Gabe Rosado thought that Bivol, while the fight was going on, was boxing very good. Tony Bello thought that Bivol won. Erickson Lubin is an awestruck of Bivol and calls him one hell of a boxer. Josh Taylor thought that Bivol won. Carl Froch thought that Bivol won. And the list goes on and on. Then we have some assholes out here who, to be controversial, decided to say that Beterbiev won. And we'll go into that as well. But as you can see, the list of people that I just mentioned are highly accomplished boxers. Okay? Most of them are boxers or people who know boxing, like Steven Espinoza, like the great Prince of Saudi Arabia, who understands his boxing and knows his boxing. I want to say off the bat, Andre Ward's scorecard for Bivol was 116-112, 8 rounds to 4. He had Bivol winning. And I'm gonna be as honest with you guys as I can. I had Bivol beating Artur Beterbiev 9 rounds to 3, and I tried to give Beterbiev certain rounds, rounds which he actually did something in the round where he actually hurt Bivol or got some shots in on Bivol. All right, so. The professionals. Now, they had some things to say as well, from Andre Ward all the way down to Josh Taylor. So let me actually say what they said. Sergio Mora He said, more and more judges are deceived by ineffective aggression. And I have to agree with that. I have to agree with that. For the most part in this fight, Dmitry Bivol had taken away the attributes that Artur Beterbiev was known for and made his aggression, while he had immense pressure and immense aggression, and he would even rock Dmitry Bivol, push him around. And when he punched him, you could see Dmitry Bivol's whole body move with the shots, but he blocked the shots nonetheless. You could see that, that Artur Beterbiev was the much stronger fighter of the two. So I think people were deceived by that because, if Artur Beterbiev started throwing punches, literally the punches would move Dmitry Bivol. They would rock him and rock his body. And then, of course, Dmitry Bivol would ride and roll with those punches as well. So it would look exaggerated as if Beterbiev was beating down Dmitry Bivol. And I think that optics deceived the judges, not realizing that Bivol wasn't getting hurt by any of those shots because he had a solid defense. And so I believe, a lot of viewers were deceived by what they were looking at. So if you don't understand boxing, if you do not know boxing, you would not realize that none of those shots were effective. All right, so that's point number one. Sergio Moro saying that more and more judges are deceived by ineffective aggression. The reason why Beterbiev amped up everything after round 10 was because his corner told him, you need to go for the knockout. You're not in the fight right now. And so Beterbiev got desperate. And I did have Beterbiev winning round 11. I did not have him winning round 10. I did not have him winning round 12. I had him winning round 11. And the reason he won round 11 wasn't because of what he did, but it was what Bivol did not do. Bivol, in the beginning of round 11, now Beterbiev came up very, very fast in round 11. He was throwing a lot of punches. But the guy who really was doing the flashy combos that actually landed was Bivol early on. And then Beterbiev caught Bivol with a jab or something. I believe it was a jab. Hurt Bivol. Bivol closed up. And then I believe Bivol decided to conserve energy for that round and throw away that round, sort of like. And Beterbiev was the active one. Bivol wasn't doing anything. And just on the action that Bivol wasn't really countering Beterbiev and wasn't really doing him anything in the 11th round, because Beterbiev just took it up. He took up the energy level and he just started throwing. He was throwing, throwing caution to the wind a bit and just throwing punches the entire remainder of the round. And Bivol basically just shelled up and used his defense throughout that part of the round as, Beterbiev took it up. And in the 12th round, Bivol started to respond to Beterbiev, again, dictate with his jab, because he was doing certain things with his jab. And I'll explain to you guys what he was doing with his jab. He was using what we call a circular motion. That is to say, and let me demonstrate a little bit with you guys so you will understand what I'm saying. So Dmitry Bivol was in a stance something like this, okay? He'd stick his head out like this, and he'd be here. And if anything, he could snap back, okay? He could snap back himself. But his jab was the key here, and Andre Ward would understand this very well. Bivol used a circular motion like this, and he would touch you with the jab. He'd come here and touch you with the jab, right there, like that. And he'd probe. He would probe with the jab like this. This was keeping Artur Beterbiev occupied, and Bivol would keep on maintaining his range that way. But he wouldn't just throw the jab when you expect him to. Sometimes he'd double it up. Sometimes he'd do as if he's going to throw a hook. He'd fake a hook and then stick it up the middle, right there, right? So he'd do like this. And you see Floyd Mayweather doing the same thing with his jab. Now I'm a southpaw, so this is feeling very awkward for me. But Floyd sometimes would do something like this. Touch it. Touch it. Touch it. So that's what Bivol was doing, right? Beterbiev, his stance is more like this, okay? With this hand extended out. So he pushes a straight jab, right? But Bivol, he'll literally slap you like this. His jab is more of a hook-like jab, but it's a jab. And sometimes he'd do like he'd feint as if he's going to hook, and then he would touch you here. And sometimes Bivol would touch both Beterbiev's jabbing hand, and then he would touch also his power hand. So he touched the power hand here, jabbing hand, to keep them both at home, and he's sticking right up the middle. Okay? Again, y'all need to know what the fuck you're watching. If you don't know what you're watching, then you're not going to be able to understand what's going on. And you'll be swayed by anything that you see. Okay? Bivol was controlling Beterbiev and maintaining a certain range. That's why Bivol's always out of range when Beterbiev's trying to throw certain punches. And Beterbiev, he's a guy that throws his major effectiveness is when he's throwing short, compact punches. Okay? He has to close the distance. Doesn't have the reach like Bivol. And that's how Bivol was able to keep him at bay for the entire fight. Kept him at bay. Bivol not once got hurt by Beterbiev. Not once. I think Bivol recounted, he said Beterbiev hit him with a body shot. And he said, you know, he's very powerful. He was able to block most of Beterbiev's shots. And I think in the 10th round is when Bivol's eye got busted open. It was swelling all the time. And it was because Beterbiev hit him with a right hand over, but not on the eye. He's blocking the punch, but he still gets hit with the power. That's how much power Beterbiev had. He's very strong. Okay, and that's how Bivol busted his own eye. Right? If you look at Bivol's face, it's not really a mess or anything. It's just that Beterbiev is a very strong guy. Okay, but Bivol controlled him. That's why, as much as Beterbiev turned it up in the 11th and 12th, and I gave Beterbiev the 11th round, I gave him it because, as I said before, Bivol was mostly defensive, even though Bivol did land some combinations early in that round and caught Beterbiev with flush shots. He shut it down, and he was mostly defensive for the rest of the round. So Beterbiev won that 11th round. It wasn't the same for the 12th. Okay? Now, why that's important is because people say that Bivol lost the 10th, 11th, and 12th. I did not see that. I saw Beterbiev raising his game in the 10th, 11th, and 12th, but his effectiveness wasn't raised with his game. He wasn't landing anything. Bivol was the guy landing the throughout the fight. He was the one landing the flashy, flush, clean shots. If Beterbiev, I'm going to tell y'all as a matter of a fact, if Beterbiev could have landed clean flush shots on Bivol, Bivol wouldn't look anything like what he looked like. You've seen Beterbiev land flush shots on Joe Smith Jr. He lands flush shots on Callum Smith. You saw him land flush shots on Marcus Brown, and they don't look nothing like how Bivol looked. Right? Bivol didn't even look like he broke a sweat. Okay? And that's because, again, Bivol's defense made the difference in this fight. He was able to tag Beterbiev much more than Beterbiev was able to tag him, for sure. And his jab was a key weapon in this fight throughout it. Okay, Bivol, when he wanted to, pushed back Beterbiev, because what Bivol was doing was setting traps and countering Beterbiev. When Beterbiev gets countered now, Beterbiev would back off, and because he would respect what Bivol could do. And Bivol varied his offense. It was a very varied offense. He mixed it head to body, body to head. Beterbiev kept on hitting arms throughout the fight. All right, let's talk about scoring the fight. So Andre Ward had it 116 to 112, and I do believe Andre Ward believes the same thing I do, that Bivol won the first 5 rounds. Okay? Dmitry Bivol won the first 5 rounds. I couldn't give a single round in the first 5 rounds to Artur Beterbiev. Now, the 6th round, Artur Beterbiev won that round, in my opinion. Okay? And the reason he won it, he actually, he landed a good jab, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th round, why I gave Beterbiev the 6th round was because, not only because he was more active, but he actually caught Bivol with a couple of jabs, which were really good jabs. And in the 6th round, yes, Bivol also landed some punches on Beterbiev, but I thought that Beterbiev controlled that round more. I don't know if Bivol was trying to take time off, or I think Bivol probably got caught with a shot that he didn't expect or something. But during that round, Bivol started off well, and then Beterbiev had closed the distance sufficiently. Now, at no point in time did Beterbiev pin Bivol to the ropes and get him there and just beat on him. He never got that opportunity. Bivol always spun out, always had an exit strategy, always knew how to change direction and distance, and he did it excellently. But the one thing that Beterbiev able to do in the 6th round, which he was unable to duplicate after that, was he was able to catch Bivol with a shot. And Bivol was, I think they were trading or something, and Bivol had gotten Beterbiev hurt against the ropes. And I think Beterbiev, no, that's round 5. So round 6 anyway, I gave that round to Artur Beterbiev. Okay, that was his first round he won. I believe I gave him also round 7, and then I gave Bivol rounds 8 and 9. Yeah, 8 and 9, and then I gave Beterbiev round 11. Bivol also took round 10. So Bivol had 8, 9, 10, and then I gave Beterbiev round 11. And then Bivol took round 12. So that's how I got 9-3. Now, if you didn't give Bivol round 12, then you would have had it 8-4. And I think Andre Ward did not give Bivol round 12. So, but I truly believe Bivol got back on top of things in round 12. Because in round 11, Beterbiev won that round, but it was because he was more active. Bivol just wasn't throwing anything for a good portion of the round. So I had to give that round to Beterbiev. Didn't see round 10 going to Beterbiev at all because Bivol was the one landing a lot of flashy shots, a lot of combinations on Beterbiev. And I'm surprised that anyone could give. So I had the fight anyway, 117, 111, 9 rounds to 3. Bivol taking rounds 1 to 5. He swept rounds 1 to 5. And then taking round 8, 9, 10, and then taking round 12. Okay. And I don't think those rounds were, and I'll tell you why he got the rounds, because he was the one landing the cleaner, more effective shots and controlling Beterbiev. Beterbiev still, no matter, even if he looked like he closed the distance, people just cover up and he'd just be hitting arms and stuff. Beterbiev was very ineffective in this fight. He wasn't really landing a lot of stuff. He had 1 or 2 good body shots, rights to the body. He was throwing a lot of right hands that did not land. A lot of right hands that didn't land. And people gave him credit for stuff that he did not do. As to people saying that Bivol fought on the back foot, no, for most of the fight, Bivol was in the center of the ring or actually pushing Beterbiev back. He was actually walking down Beterbiev at times, which is interesting. And I guess a lot of you didn't notice that. Now, in the championship rounds, in round 11, Bivol was more on the back foot, moving quite a lot around the ring in the 11th round. I think he got hurt with a shot. I think Beterbiev caught him with a jab, I think. And he just decided to shell up for the rest of the round. He did fire back 1 or 2 shots, but I don't think he landed much of anything after that. He did land in the beginning, somewhere in the beginning of the round. He did catch Beterbiev with a flurry. But for the most part, Beterbiev had turned up the energy level and everything, and he was just going at him. In the 12th, he tried to continue that, but he failed because Bivol started controlling him again with the jab and catching him with shots because he opened up a lot more. So he kind of had to dial it back a bit, and that's why Bivol ended up landing the last shot and all of that. Because he tried to rough up Bivol as well. He's trying to rough him up, but Bivol, has his, he has the phone right there, so he's protecting himself. So when he tried to rabbit punch him, Bivol was there with the phone, so he's always protecting himself. Unlike Gavorzik. Now, y'all said that Gavorzik was beaten, he's supposedly up on the cards by the judges against Beterbiev. Well, if you're saying that Gavorzik was up on the cards against Beterbiev in the 10th, how the fuck is Bivol's not up on the cards? This is the logic that I don't understand. You're saying that Gavorzik's a better fighter than Bivol? Then why did he get knocked out? Why did he get knocked out? See, all of these things just don't add up. Okay, so Richardson Hitchens, I'm going to just say what these other guys said because I need to keep it moving. Tristan Tate said the cleaner work was done by Bivol, and he thought Bivol won 7-5. Stephen Espinoza had this to say. He said 116-112 is egregiously bad judging, poor scoring, and he's right. Whoever thinks that Beterbiev beat Bivol 116-112, 8 rounds to 4, when I can't even find 4 rounds to give to I can't even find 4 rounds to give to Beterbiev. I can't, because he's not landing much of anything. The rounds he won was because he was more active. Yes, there were times when he did land some good shots. Like as I said before, in round 6, I thought he landed some good shots in there. So I gave him round 6 for sure. Even though it was still a tit for tat kind of round, I favored him. Gotta give him something. And round 11, because of Bivol's inactivity, more going to defense and not really firing back anything. He did fire back some stuff early on, but later on it was all Beterbiev because of just his activity. I had to give him round 11. All right. And I thought that Beterbiev also won round 7. That's it. You know, anything else you're doing, you really just being super charitable. So I thought this was a typical Bivol fight against a guy that's much stronger than he is, you know, much more powerful than he is. And he handled it brilliantly. Richardson Hitchens says, can someone with a real boxing brain explain to me how Bivol lost this fight? That's bullshit. What do y'all say? He's right. I don't know how Bivol could possibly have lost this fight. And they say, oh, Bivol threw away the 11th round and he threw away this round. He didn't throw away anything. He boxed like how Bivol boxed. Right. Tony Bello said, I've got Bivol winning that fight. Erickson Lubin said, Bivol is one hell of a boxer. Josh Taylor says, I thought Bivol won, but it is what it is. Kyle Frutch also thought that Bivol won that fight. These are professional boxers. Some Hall of Famer boxers. We got fantastic boxers here. And they all thought that Bivol won that fight. And more than likely, there will be a rematch. And Bivol will have his opportunity to be even more emphatic. But it's sad. It's sad when you know these judges have been bought. There's no way on God's green earth a judge would give Beterbiev 8 rounds to 4. As Kyle Frutch so correctly said, and everybody's talking about how the atrocious judging, including, which is interesting, Blue Blood Sports TV, who saw the fight not as wide as I did, but he thought Bivol won as well. There are several other people who thought that Bivol won. They said that they thought he won by 2 points more than Beterbiev. And I don't understand because, again, as Sergio Mora so correctly said, it's not just aggression, it's effective aggression. And I can't understand how Beterbiev, what did he do that was so effective in the fight? We know when Beterbiev is effective, he causes mass damage. And no such thing happened in the fight against Bivol. If Beterbiev gets to land flush shots on a fighter, he's going to do damage. He's very, very strong. And we didn't see him do any damage to Bivol. And we saw Bivol throwing 3, 4, 5 punch combinations on Beterbiev. Okay? Now, I do understand in boxing, not all punches are equal, meaning a guy as strong as Beterbiev, and as powerful as Beterbiev, if he would have hit you with 1 punch, it could be more devastating than you hitting him with 3 or 4 or 5 punches. We get that. The problem with that is that, yes, he was punching on Bivol and Bivol was moving. That is to say, he was what's the word? He was rocking Bivol. When I say rocking, I mean To rock someone just simply means when you punch them and you punch through the punch, their whole body moves with the punch. Okay? That's all it means. So, in that respect, that optics probably is what, I don't know, the fans think that because of that, Beterbiev was beating up Bivol or something. But quite frankly, they didn't do anything to Bivol. Did executed to a T. Bivol felt he could have done a little bit more. You always feel that way as a perfectionist. But quite frankly, he did enough to win that fight. More than enough. That was a typical Bivol fight. Typical Bivol fight. If you added 8-4 or 9-3 to Bivol, yeah, that's about it. If you had it a draw, you're talking Julio Cesar Chavez versus Pernell Whitaker kind of robbery. So a draw is a robbery, in my opinion. You'd have robbed Bivol the right to have won the title. So imagine some stupid judge out there thought that Beterbiev somehow, some way, won 8 rounds. That's a travesty. Right? And all you guys out there were saying that was a close fight. That's what you claim. I didn't see a close fight, but y'all claimed it was a close fight. Right? Y'all claimed it was a close fight. Because any minute, Beterbiev could knock out Bivol. That's how y'all was looking at it. See? Because this guy has knockout power. Just like with Gennady Golovkin. Any minute, Gennady Golovkin will knock out Canelo Alvarez. You know? That's sort of stupid shit that I just can't take from stupid fans. Because you actually buy into the Kool-Aid that the commentators be telling you. And while you await, Bivol's beating the fuck out of Beterbiev, beating him up all over the place. You're not paying attention to that because any minute now, Beterbiev could turn Bivol's lights out. In the meantime, Bivol is winning round after round after round, but you're not seeing that because your pinhead can't realize everything's not about power and strength. Nobody denies that Beterbiev is strong, that he's powerful, but no fucking way in hell he outpointed Dmitry Bivol. He's not a better boxer than Bivol. So how the fuck did he win that fight? Explain. Go ahead. Explain to me how he won that fight. Because you can't. He's not a better boxer than Dmitry Bivol. He's not even a better boxer than Gvozdyk. In terms of boxing. It's not. He was being outpointed by Gvozdyk. You're telling me Bivol, who's a much better boxer than Gvozdyk, wasn't outpointing Artur Beterbiev? Come on, man. Y'all need to get your eyes washed. Robbery. This was a robbery. Plain and simple. Needs to have a rematch so Bivol could wash Beterbiev's ass now. I remember a lot of you out there were talking about how, Bivol can't punch like Gvozdyk and he can't punch and Beterbiev gonna knock him out. I remember all that stupid stuff y'all was saying. I remember that same stupid narrative was Gennady Golovkin finally Canelo signed the contract. Golovkin gonna knock out Canelo now. No such thing happened. 3 times Canelo whooped Gennady Golovkin's ass. He only got credit for twice. Y'all still hate Canelo to this day because he whooped Gennady Golovkin's ass. You got to know what it is you're watching. And a lot of y'all don't know what the fuck you be watching. Y'all get caught up in, he can knock, he has a 100% knockout ratio. Does he have a 100% knockout ratio now? Y'all get caught up in so much shit that have nothing to do with boxing. And just so y'all know that I didn't pull this shit out of my ass, and I'm not one of those, emotional fans. Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson, Richardson Hitchens, Sergio Mora, Showtime Shawn Porter, Steven Espinoza. These are people in the business. Gabe Rosado, Erickson Lewis, Josh Taylor, and Carl Froch thought Bivol won too. Now, to varying degrees, some of them thought it was a close fight. Some of them thought, oh yeah, it was a robbery. Okay. Excuse me, I'm eating. I shouldn't do that. So I'm gonna pause. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to smash the like button. There are a lot of you guys that either you feign ignorance about the sport of boxing, or you really are ignorant of the sport of boxing. All the evidence is there to show that Bivol won. And don't tell me it's subjective. I know Bivol said that. Boxing is subjective. Now, the word is effective. Effective. It's not what you like. It's what is effective. That's boxing. I'm what you need. Peace.